Hello, welcome back to another video. This is part two of the tip calculator challenge, and today we're going to tackle some of the JavaScript or all of the JavaScript to get it functional. So as you can see right now, nothing really happens. I mean, you can enter some numbers, but it doesn't really initiate any sort of calculation for the tip calculator. So first off, we're just going to start with creating some variables. I know this is the first time I've touched upon JavaScript, so I'll try and explain it uh, as I go, what things mean, what things are. If this is your first time using JavaScript, I do suggest looking at some other resources to get a basic fundamental foundation of what JavaScript is, like variables, scope, functions, all that stuff. But as I go, I'll start to try and explain it. So I'm going to do a let variable, and this just means we can change it throughout the script. And what I'm going to do first is do for the tip button itself, these classes here, and what I'm going to do is a query selector for all of them. And what that is doing is it's going to attach this name to all of those classes, all those buttons. And also let's start with some values. So what do we want? We want tip value to equal 0. Number of people to equal 0. We want bill amount equals 0. And I think that will cover it for the amounts. And what else do we want? We want to attach an event to the two inputs. So we've got bill total input. So for IDs, total input, we do get element by ID. And the biggest difference with query selector and get element by ID is the way that you put it into the brackets. So here you don't have to really denote if it's a class or an ID, but in the query selector you have to have that as if it's like a CSS selector. Class name for the CSS. And then we also want number of people input. And that is custom tip. No, that's not. It is total people input. And we also want a class for the reset button, the tip amount per person, and the total per person. So that is tip amount total display. I'm just going to copy that, put that in. And we also want total display. That's going to be total display. And then the last one I think we need is the reset button. Reset button. I believe that's all the variables we need and all the values we need. So we don't really need the index, the HTML at the moment, or the CSS. So we're going to start just making some functions for these. So for the tip button, I'm going to do a for each function for that. So it's going to attach it to each button. This is just so it's sort of less code, so you don't have to make an individual function or click function for each button. You can just sort of do it in one go. So we're going to call it a for each. We're going to call a function using the element, which is the button itself. And then we're going to go element.add event listener. We're going to do a click function, and then we're going to do a function leave like that. Might not be like that. Yes, it's like this. Sorry, I just didn't add the brackets there. Function, and then we're going to run a function. I'm going to call it calculate tip. I'm going to use the element as the input value. And now we're going to create the actual function for that. Calculate tip. Takes in one input. One value, I should say. And then we're going to create this. So what we want to do is for each one, we want to change the tip value to the value of the button. So as you can see, each button has a value here. So from 0.05 to 0.25. So we're going to do tip value equals e dot value, and we want to push that value. Actually, no, we don't want to do that. We're just going to calculate the tip. Oh, that's perfect there. So we've got that sorted. Calculate tip. Okay, what we can do. Okay, that's fine. Now let's add a event listener to the bill total input. So add event listener. Going to be input, and the function is going to be what do we want to do? I'm going to say update bill total. I'm going to create another function called update bill total. And also, okay, yeah. So we're going to have this bill amount equals this dot value. And that should work. Yep. We also want it to run the calculate tip function. Yeah. So actually, what I'm going to do, update number of people. People equals this dot value. We're going to do calculate going to add an event listener to the number of people input. And we're going to do update people. And we're also going to reset button listener. We'll click and we'll do reset values function. Reset values. Alright, and I think what I'm going to actually do is change this to update tip. Yeah. Alright, what we'll also do is a console log just to make sure these functions are working. So console.log improvement. So we're just gonna log the value that it's changing just to make sure that it's working. Just a way to make sure your code is functioning. I think it should work. It's not doing it. Oh wait. It should work now. Yeah, so they're working. That's working, and these are working. Alright, so they're all working now. Actually, except the custom tip, we'll do that in a second. But what isn't happening is the active tip button isn't changing with the button that I press. So what we want to do for that is we're going to do a loop. We're going to loop through the buttons and change. So first we're going to go e.classList add active tip. I'm going to do element. And then what we're going to do is for loop. I is less than tip button dot length. I'm just going to go tip button I dot class list. So remove active tip. So it's removing it now, but now it's just not adding it. So actually what I'm going to do going to get rid of this. I'm going to put it in this event here. Not adding active tip. Interesting. But it is removing it, which is good. It's just not reading it as an object to be changed. I don't know why. Yeah, now it's working. That was weird. That was weird. I don't know what was happening there. Okay, so now everything's updating. So now we want to go into calculate tip. And what we're going to do is we actually want 2 more values. We want tip amount per person, and we want total per person. Now we're going to get into some math. So we want to grab these 2 values, put them down here, and we're going to grab this total tip amount total display, and we're going to do total display. Okay, so tip amount per person is here, and the tip amount per person will be the percentage of the bill divided by people. So what it will be is bill amount times the tip, then divided by. So we want to do this equation first. Times tip value divided by num people. Okay, so it's working a little bit, but we want to add the $sign. So we're going to do the $sign here. Because this will be sort of you have to write this one as sort of a text, then it's adding the variable here. So then total per person will be the bill divided by a number of people plus the tip amount per person. Plus tip amount per Okay, and we're going to change this no value, so then it will just run it when there's a value. So we'll do 1. So there we go. So if amount's 5%, we'll just do $100 to make it a little bit easier. 5% of 100 is $5, so the total is between one person is 105. I get 2 people. And we're going to also limit this decimal place. Okay, but so now it's functioning. What I'm going to do is just add this reset values. So we'll do basically just resetting it all. Everything goes to 0. And we could also change. No, that's fine. We'll just leave it like that for now. We also want to do, so we only want this function to run if there's a value input to bill, number of people, so what I'm actually going to do, so I'm going to set the default value of tip to 0.05, just so that's active, so that it'll run. And we'll do here, we'll do an if statement. So an if statement works only if the conditions inside this bracket are true. So if we'll go bill amount is greater than 0, and number of people is greater than 0. We'll run that. There we go. So now it's running, and I'm going to change that decimal place. But for that, I do have to remember how to do that. So I want to show you what the process is for that. So what we can do is this. I'm just basically just saying how to limit a number to 2 decimal places in JavaScript. Okay, so it's this toFixed. There's an inbuilt function called toFixed, and you can do it to 2. So we could probably tip amount calc and total person. And that's really, I'm just gonna like and these will equal these amounts. and then these will equal tip calc and total calc. So just to show you, they equal these numbers, these two decimal places. So we're going to do this toFixed. Yes, I do apologize for that. The recording, I don't know, something just went wrong. But just to go on what I was talking about, with this issue about the large decimal places, we're going to use this toFixed function, inbuilt function in JavaScript. So a way we can do that is to add two more variables. So we're going to add tip amount total and total amount person. I'm going to equal these to 0. And we're going to change the equations here. Then we're going to do tip amount total dot toFixed. We'll do it to 2. And we'll do total amount person toFixed, go to 2. Hopefully that does something. Okay, but okay, it doesn't change. I think it returns, that might return a string. So what we're going to do is do pass float. And that'll convert that string into a number again, to a float. Yeah, okay. Cool. So now it's working how you want it to. So if one person has, say, $43. Tip amount $6. Okay, cool, awesome. So that is all working nicely. We'll do okay, that's not right. Okay, so the tip amount is working, the total is not working how we want it to. Oh, okay, wait. Total amount person. Total amount person. Plus tip total 100, 10%, one person. Okay, there we go. Sorry. Alright, cool. Then we do reset, returns 0. And now what we want to do is the same thing for the custom button. It's here, custom tip. Custom tip input custom tip, add event listener. And what we'll do is change the tip value that should work. Then run calculate tip. I'm going to do 100, 1. We'll do 3. Yeah, it's not working. Okay. But what we want to do is divide this by 100. No, 10. So if it's 100, one person, then we get 50% tip. No, it is 100. So 100, one person, 50% tip. That'll be 150. And we also just want to get rid of the active tip button. Cool, beautiful. That's working now. What we can do is also this change state for the input if there's a 0. So we can do if zero, we can so there's people error and there is tip error. Okay. People and tip error. They want to remove that hidden class. So for people, actually we do bill amount. Was it bill error, tip error? Yeah, I think it was this one. remove can't be 0. And you want to also add input. So we'll add a style. So style dot border equals red. And we'll just also add an else to add that hidden one back. There we go. And we'll just do that same thing, but to tip, same number of people, if alrighty. So I think that's it. I think the only thing is we want to change that input. One pixel solid red. This might be the way to go. Yeah. So we'll just do the border to red. And then if it's not, do border none. I don't know if it's that or not. Let me have a look. Okay. Let me just add this one here. So if it's 0, you get that message. So it goes back. Alrighty. So there you have it. We got that all works now. We put in 100% tip. That was it. Awesome. I'll upload this now, and then we'll see how the comparison turns out. Alright, so design-wise, I mean, it looks okay. I'm not like super happy with this one. I can do a lot more with the design file to really get it looking exactly the same. But most of the all the design elements are there, and also I'm pretty happy with the way that the JavaScript's working. And yeah, I do apologize for the length of this series, these 2 videos. I'm trying to get more efficient at explaining my process and going through the code at the same time. I'm not sure if it's beneficial to have them longer, as I can get more detail into my explaining, or I just need to get better at explaining my reasoning for doing things and what's going on. So yeah, let me know if you prefer the longer form or try and cut it down a little bit. But if we do the longer form, I'll just do better with timestamps and including more, so you know where to go for each step. But yeah, I hope you had fun with this one, and I'll catch you on the next one.